Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, giving all praise and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, and double honors to the apostles and the elders that I learned the truth from GMS and the like-minded brothers that teaching the like-minded doctrines, Salakia. And this is the brother Abakala Awalam. Just want to share this video I came across. I found it very interesting, and everything's relate to the scriptures. There's nothing that's happening that doesn't relate to the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. I'm gonna just let this video play for a little bit and then point out some scriptures that relates to what's being said, and I'll leave a copy of the video in the description box. And due to the Fair Use Act, this is for educational purposes only, to edify the body of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. I'm gonna let the video play. Started at. Basically, this video was saying it's about the rise of food prices, inflation, and basically a famine crisis in America, and for that matter, the whole earth, the whole world,
The health crisis has thrown tens of millions of Americans out of work, and at least 10% of the entire U.S. workforce remains out of the job market. Since last year, we have been witnessing massive lines outside food banks across the country. But even though the outbreak-induced shutdowns have pushed many people to the brink of financial ruin, experts say the health crisis didn't trigger the hunger crisis, but it has exposed its root cause. Even before the current recession, 35 million Americans were already food insecure, meaning they lacked access and means to afford enough nutritious food for themselves and their families, while millions of others were 1 or 2 paychecks away from needing help. Then, after the health outbreak exploded, those vulnerable workers and households have fallen into a poverty spiral incredibly hard to recover from. Low-income earners already at the bottom of the food ladder were disproportionately impacted by mass layoffs and continue to find extra hardships to reinsert themselves back on the labor market. In 2020, more than 54 million Americans suffered from food insecurity, and now at least 42 million, or 1 in 6, remain at risk of experiencing acute hunger in 2021, according to Feeding America. That's the nation's largest anti-hunger organization. Throughout the recession, with each passing month, increasingly more families needed help to get enough food to eat. According to a report published by the Institute for Policy Research, which relied on data provided by the U.S. Census Bureau's Household Pulse Survey, in less than a year, food insecurity has doubled overall and tripled among households with children. In a recent interview with CBS News, IPR Director Diane Whitmore-Schausenbach alerted that these statistics would likely continue to hold, with the numbers underscoring particularly dramatic increases in food insecurity among Black and Latin families. At the beginning of the year, the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities released an analysis that showed 22% of Black and 21% of Latin respondents reported still not having enough to eat. Some areas were significantly more impacted than others. For example, in the
Well, you see what he just said. I'm gonna rewind it. It says the people of black descent, or the people that's black or Latin, which is basically the tribes, the children of Israel. You know, they are stating that their household is doesn't have enough food for the household. Basically, I'm just rewind that back a little bit.
Schausenbach alerted that these statistics would likely continue to hold, with the numbers underscoring particularly dramatic increases in food insecurity among black and Latin families. At the beginning of the year, the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities released an analysis that showed 22% of black and 21% of Latin respondents reported still not having enough to eat. Some areas were significant.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that in the scriptures. What the scripture says, about that. We are the people of the Most High. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. This in First Peter 4:17 it says, "For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of Yahweh, and if his work begin at us, what shall be the end of them that obey not the gospel of Yahweh? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear?" Well, basically, what I'm trying to get at, our focus point of the scripture, is the judgment must begin at the house of God, or Yahweh. You know, that's why our people suffer the most. We suffer the most when it comes to anything. We're at the bottom when it comes to anything. You know, he put us at the bottom. He made us a base people. And I just want to point that out in the scriptures. I'm gonna jump to Salakia. I'm gonna jump to another portion of the video. Just trying to hit some points.
Completely ran out of options. The CEO of Feeding America, Claire Babineau Fontenot, revealed that about 40% of the people who've turned to their food banks for help have never before relied upon the charitable food system. Never, she stressed. So hopefully this notion of, well, there's not that much hunger in America, and the people who are hungry, they just probably don't work hard. I think people have said, oh, what if one day, due to no fault of my own, I didn't have a job? What if the business shuts down? When we think about ourselves as a country, there's a narrative that we've learned, that we are the land of milk and honey. Hunger is so antithetical to that narrative, and it's true. America is rich with opportunities. It's just that those opportunities are not equal.
The Bible said that Babylon had been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand. So that the narrated stated that this land is real, is wealthy basically. Just wanted to point that out too. Let's see if I find that real quick. This is Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 7. And Babylon the Great is America. That's what Babylon the Great is. Babylon has been the golden cup in the Lord's hand that had made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. And continue on, it says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her and take balm for her pain. If so, if so be she may be healed. We will have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country. For judgment reacheth unto the heavens and is lifted up even to the skies. And this is mentioned in Revelations chapter, the book of Revelations too. Um, if I'm not mistaken, it's chapter 18. You know, I'm gonna get that later on. Going back to the, this place is falling. And it's not going to recover. You know, that's thus says Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai.
Stated. In essence, food insecurity remains a persistent public health problem. The fallout of the health crisis has inflamed the problem, but also has shed a light on the fact that in the world's wealthiest country, a large chunk of the population doesn't have the means to afford their most basic needs. A Federal Reserve survey found that 40% of Americans cannot afford to pay an unexpected $400 bill. So, in the face of long-term unemployment or other financial strains, this lack of financial cushion created an economic shock and exacerbated an already existing hunger crisis. During the early months of the sanitary outbreak, lockdown announcements triggered a massive panic buying frenzy that led to dramatic food shortages all over the country. Even though shortages of some essentials linger until this day, the reason why we still have massive lines at food bank distributions is not because we have a shortage of food supplies. Yeah, supply chain disruptions repeatedly occurred and caused short-term shortages when people started to run to stockpile non-perishable goods and cleaning supplies. However, the main determinant that's driving millions of Americans to face starvation is the growth of social inequality. Throughout the years, the American living standards have been continuously deteriorated by reckless monetary policies that have put us on a hyperinflationary path and ended up expanding the wealth disparities while progressively rising food prices. Needless to say, in face of such a the government's extraordinary monetary response has made the problem worse. Global food chains have also been affected by a series of natural disasters such as floods, droughts, pests, an outbreak of swine fever. Therefore, food output has been slowed down over the past 12 months.
You see he said there was basically natural disasters and pestilence and stuff like that is happening that which caused the food shortage. I'm gonna get this in the book of St. Luke, the 21st chapter, and let's start the 7th verse. And they asked him, saying, Master, but when shall these things be, and what's the sign will there be when these things shall come to pass? Which this is the disciples asking Yahweh Shai. Salakia, they asking Yahweh Shai what the signs of his coming. And go down to verse 10. Then he said unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, famines, pestilence, and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. This is the signs of the end times. Like, this stuff is going on. You have that nation against nation right now. They have China, Russia, the U.S., North Korea. All they got the scrimmages. India got the scrimmages They're bickering back and forth, with each other. They got other various other countries also too. Australia, there's a flooding going on in Australia right now. And a lot of other natural disasters is going on right now, earthquakes and things of that and things like that, things of the nature, things of that nature. Um, I'm getting on second Ezra, 15:1, and it reads, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith Yahweh." I should have read this earlier, but and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. You can't refute it. There's no denying the fact about what the scriptures say. And verse 5 says, "Behold, saith Yahweh, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For the wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Thus says Yahweh, I will hold my tongue no more as touching the wickedness which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and the righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continuously." That's that's what we're doing. The brothers, the brothers that know the doctrine and speaking the words of the prophecies of the Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. That's basically what we're doing. Crying out this place here. And the works is exceedingly polluted the whole earth, which is Babylon the Great. That's what it's talking about. In this earth, in these other nations, and what they doing in its entirety. Um, Let me get a little bit more of this video.
As the combined effect of the health crisis, as well as the emerging global recession, could disrupt the functioning of food systems all over the planet, which would result in consequences for health and nutrition of a severity and scale unseen for more than half a century. WFP Director David Beasley told the United Nations Security Council that the world is, quote, on the brink of a hunger pandemic, unquote, adding that if authorities don't promptly act to reverse this situation, we could be looking at famine in about 36 countries. And in fact, in 10 of those countries, we already have more than 1 million who are on the verge of starvation, he said. Despite unemployment rates aren't as high as they were at the burst of the crisis, some people have been in the red through the whole recession. And although some have come back to work, they've spent their entire savings trying to get by. They'll have to catch up on late bills. Another major issue no one seems to be talking about is the fact that even though vaccines have started to be distributed and that could put the health crisis behind us, after the last shots are given and politicians declare it's the end, the hunger crisis will likely be, once again, swept under the rug. And all those food insecure people will remain in the same situation, as the reopening of the economy also means higher inflation, therefore higher food prices.
Just a higher inflation, higher food prices. That's coming. You know, you can see that right now at at the gas stations. Your gas prices are a little more than what it was, a few months ago. And it's obvious from the beginning of beginning of the pandemic or pandemic that shelves was the shelves in a lot of these stores was empty or was scarce. It's like they were scarce items on the Revelations 18:1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become a habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of her wine, Slakia. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornications with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers in her sin, and that ye receive not of her plagues. That's according that's the Yahweh's chosen, the chosen people, which is you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. That's the people of the Lord, the people of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. So we must come out of her spiritually, basically not partaking in this place, idolatry and these wicked holidays and all the customs of the world, of this world. We got to come out of here and come back to our power, which is obeying the statutes and commandments of Yahweh Shai, um, to the best of our ability. Reading on, for our sins have reached into heaven, and God, which Yahweh have redeemed her, have remembered Salakia her iniquities. Reward her even as she has rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. In the cup which she hath fill to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and no widow, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, mourning, famine, is the word famine again. Death gonna come along, all this mourning, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire, for strong is Yahweh power, who judges her, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. This is basically the judgment of this place, Babylon the Great, which is AKA America. Once the this third war, which is in the background, which is brewing right now as we speak. It's been brewing for some time now. You know what I'm saying? If you are aware of the news and recent things that they don't show you on your local witchcraft television, you know, they ain't gonna show you that a lot of that stuff in your media, which is a medium, which is basically witchcraft. They try to trick you, show you what they want you to show, but that's another topic. But yeah, that's what's gonna happen to this place. This place is gonna be burnt. Where some other places, this place is gonna be burnt to the ground. Getting back to finishing this video, And that should be it for that.
Is Kalibata, the special envoy to the UN Secretary General for the Food Systems Summit 2021, sounded a red alert to what lies ahead of us. As economic systems have contracted and food has become more expensive and in some places out of reach for people, hunger crises will be more challenging this year than last year, she said. That is to say, as many of the problems that experts predicted last year have been deferred and not solved, and our economy has significantly shrunk, more and more Americans are likely to be pushed to the brink of starvation. Even more tragically, as our leaders turn their eyes away from our real problems and leave our great people fighting for crumbs when our economy dies, we should prepare for the worst, since the good old days may never come back.
Yeah, that's the end of that video. He had the narrator stated, so basically, just like it says in Revelation, this place is falling. You know what I'm saying? And it says never. And like the narrator stated, um, it's the good old days is not going to come back. Like a lot of people think or hope or wish for. This place is not going to recover. It also says in the scriptures I just read in Second Ezra, it said take bond for her. You know what I'm saying? Or if we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Yahweh Shai is not going to heal this place, man. This place is not coming back. To our people, we must come back to our power. You know what I'm saying? Because it's only how we gonna overcome this these trying times with these the hour of temptation. This is what we are in this hour. It's fastly approaching. I just want to share this video to the Akim and the Aqua. You know, and shalom to all the brothers and pushing this word in truth and sincerity. You know, Barakatah to all of you out there. That's listening and believe and have faith in Yahweh Shai, and just keep striving. We almost home. Shalom.